Next is the Nintendo GameCube, which is a system I have recently gotten back into actively collecting for now that I have a system in my possession. And I want to get a lot of the exclusive games that were only available for the GameCube. And I've been finding a lot of them very cheaply at local stores and a couple of them on Facebook. Starting with Eternal Darkness, Sanity's Requiem. It's, yes, Nintendo's answer to Resident Evil. This time it has a psychological twist because you have like sanity meters in this and stuff like that. It's awesome. You kind of like it has a time travel element to it. And I remember it freaking me out a few times back in the day. I haven't played it since I bought it, just to check out see if the discs work. But yeah, this game is still amazing. Next up is the one that I got on Facebook, Luigi's Mansion. Never did have this when I originally had my GameCube. But over the years, it has gotten like this cult following, and now all of a sudden it's like this really high in-demand game. And I think I paid like $30 for this. It's 35 because it's going for even more on eBay. And this guy on Facebook was selling it for that price, and it is in really good condition. I was not going to pass it up. So I can see what all the hubbub is about. Another game I've been really trying to find, I found it for a really good price at a local store, Metal Gear Solid: The Twin Snakes. It's a remake of the original Metal Gear Solid for the PlayStation 1 with better graphics and all new voiceovers and stuff. It is awesome. Oh my god, I love the original Metal Gear Solid, and this is even better. Graphics and everything just out of the water. It blew it out of the water. Star Fox Assault. This is the Star Fox game for the GameCube that is majority spaceship battles, where everyone was complaining about Star Fox Adventures being mostly on foot. It's because it wasn't supposed to be a Star Fox game. But this one is Star Fox through and through, even though the tank levels are kind of But super fun, awesome. I'm happy. The last of the Rogue Squadron games I needed to complete the set, Star Wars Rebel Strike Rogue Squadron 3. This one's the worst in the series. I mean, it's not bad, it's just not nearly as good as 1 or 2. There's a lot of on-foot levels, and they just suck. They suck. But when you're in a ship, it's awesome. Especially the stuff on Hoth. It's awesome. Still, it's down at the bottom of the list on those. Super Mario Strikers. Mario Soccer. Doesn't sound all that great, but back in the day, Nintendo made a lot of these like Mario sports games, and usually they were pretty good. I have the Mario Baseball game for the Wii, which is not bad. And there's a lot of these out there. There's like Mario Tennis and all that, and they're all really fun. And this one is one of those. And the last one is Wario World. Want to say it's made by Rareware. You know, Rare, the one that I've been trying to get every game that they've ever made in my collection. That's one of my goals, yeah. So, I've been looking for this one, haven't been able to find it. Got it for $7 at a store locally. They didn't know what they had. It's good. Yeah, I played it a little while, and it's like the un-Mario. It's like Mario 64, but you're being a bastard. If that makes sense. It is actually pretty fun. I like it a lot. And if maybe I'll do a review on it. Next is the massive amount of PlayStation 2 games that I've purchased recently. And when I say massive, I mean goddamn, because I keep finding these things at super cheap prices everywhere I go, and it's always something good. I'm not talking about stupid sports games. I'm talking about, like, the top-tier titles. I mean, goddamn, where do I find this stuff? And at these prices? I don't know. But anyway, that makes me a happy collector. Couple that I just got from Amazon for about $1 each, brand new. Astro Boy, the video game. Haven't played it yet. But it's like a side-scroller game, and I do think... No, this was not. There was one that was made by Treasure, and I think that was the Game Boy Advance one. This one was not. But just on that fact alone, I was going to try this out anyway. Next is Auto Modelista. It's a game that I saw Pete Dorr talking about in a video once. And he said it was because he was trying to get all these online PlayStation 2 games to play with his friends because, you know, he was getting bored of SOCOM. And he bought this because it was online. You can race your friends. It's like an RPG racing game, which sounds odd, but there's that Koro Q game that I purchased, which is the exact same thing. And that one actually ended up being pretty fun. So I haven't played this yet, but it's in the cel-shaded graphics, which was in vogue back in the day when this came out. So we'll have to check that one out. Baroque, another Atlas RPG. Haven't played it yet because I haven't had a lot of time to devote for RPGs. But I got it really cheap, and it looks pretty awesome. It looks creepy, actually. So I can't wait to try that one out. One of my all-time favorite games from this generation of consoles, Black. Yeah. First-person shooter, super intense, so much fun. I played this game nonstop for, I think, a month. I would beat it and then just start it over again on a different difficulty setting. God damn, dude. This game is amazing. Cold Fear, a survival horror game set on a boat. And I haven't played it yet, but I read a lot about it, and it sounds amazing. Amazing. And it just did not get any love when it came out. Why? I can't explain it. There's a lot of games out there like that. You know, like Lawnmower Man. Can't wait to start playing this. This might be one that I do a review on. Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. I have heard that this is not the greatest game ever made based on a movie. I heard it's actually pretty shitty. But I got it for $1, so I wasn't going to complain. I like the movie, so why not? Show my love by buying a shitty game. Whatevs. One of my favorite games, and I love the sequel too. Def Jam Vendetta. Now, I wasn't big on wrestling games back when this first came out, but just the twist that it's all real-life rappers that you're playing as, and they're voicing themselves too, and with their music playing throughout the game. It sounded really interesting to me back then, even though I don't like rap. I mean, whatevs. But this game ended up being a ton of fun, and the sequel is just as good. I think it's Battle for New York. I love this game. I love it. Fantavision. This is the game that I purchased before I even had a PlayStation 2. A local store that me and my friend used to frequent back in the day had a lot of these games. It was just after the system had come out. I couldn't get the system right away. I got taken out from under me at a store. And he put this game up for sale for some reason at like half off. And I was just kind of like, well, I'm not going to find it for that price, ever anywhere else. So I'll buy it now. And I sat on this game for like 3 months until I can get a PlayStation 2. It's a fireworks game. It's kind of rhythmy. It's not bad. It's not great. It's just, I think I wouldn't have paid full price for it back in the day. If I did, I would have been pissed. Next is Jaws Unleashed. The game where you get to play as the shark, which is what everyone wanted to do in the Nintendo version, but weren't allowed to, and whined about it forever. This game was made by the people who made Echo the Dolphin for the Dreamcast, and the game is set up the exact same way, where you're behind the fish. In that game, you're a mammal, but whatevs. And you're eating people left and right, and destroying shit everywhere. And one of the strangest mission objectives of all time is you have to jump out of the water, grab onto a scientist in a lab coat, hold him in your mouth, because he has a card key in his pocket you need to open a door. That happened. It did. It is a fun game. It is very unique. The fact that you're just killing people left and right, and you get points for doing it, it's kind of rad. I've always liked it, even though the controls are kind of shit. But whatever. I enjoy that game for what it is, and that is a guilty pleasure game through and through. Game I didn't even know existed until I found it at the store for $5. Lupin the Third, Treasure of the Sorcerer King. I had seen the movie that there's a bunch of movies. I think it was a TV show also. It was an anime series in Japan that Steven Spielberg said was one of his favorite movies of all time. And I think it was Lupin the Third. I can't remember what the subtitle of it was. And it was pretty cool. He's a thief, this main character here. He's a thief, and it's basically like a stealth action game, stealing shit all over the place. Pretty awesome looking. Yeah, I like it a lot. Adult Swim. What? Okay. Mace Griffin Bounty Hunter. This game got shit reviews when it first came out. I remember everyone bitching about how bad it was. But it has, like a fine wine, gotten better with age, from what I understand. And when I found it for a couple of dollars at a store, I picked it up. And it is a cool action game, first-person shooter, with some spaceship piloting levels. It's fun. It's different. You're a bounty hunter, you're getting to do dastardly things, and it's kind of awesome. I don't know what people were expecting when it first came out, but you never know what people want. Everyone has different expectations. Manhunt 2, the game that almost got banned because of violent content. I do believe that these were heavily censored. It might have been just the Wii version of it that was heavily censored. Maybe this one isn't. I can't be sure. I need to do some research. Super violent. Super violent. But graphics, gameplay, storyline. I love it. The first one was one of my favorite games of all time. This one is pretty awesome as well. Okay, I picked this one up because I'm probably never going to be able to afford to get all of the complete in-box Super Nintendo games in this series. So I picked this up instead until I can get around to doing that, which will probably be a long time from now. Mega Man X Collection. It has all the Mega Man X games in it, all 7 of them, including Mega Man Battle and Chase Racing, which was never released in the US on a cartridge or PlayStation 1 or whatever. Yeah, Mega Man X, awesome. You know what Mega Man is. I don't need to talk about it all that much. It's one of the most popular series out there. So, I got it. And I found these pretty cheap. I don't know why I sold them to begin with. It might have been because I heard there was going to be like HD remasters of them, and I don't think they ever did come out. Can't be positive. Metal Gear Solid 2 and Metal Gear Solid 3. Metal Gear Solid 2 was quite possibly one of the most shocking games I'd ever played because I had no idea when I purchased it that you do not play as frickin' Snake for the whole game. That pissed me off. But I ended up beating it, and quite possibly one of the coolest twists ever after the credits of the game. But I remember the cutscene right before you fight the last boss just annoyed the hell out of me. It was like this 45-minute long cutscene, and without any lead-in, it just throws you into the boss fight for the end. And I was just kind of like, oh, I gotta play now? Damn! You know, give a brother, some heads up. But it is an awesome game. I never could get into the third one for some reason. I don't know why. It's a prequel, but it's just, I don't know. I couldn't get into it at all. I tried playing it right after I beat Solid 2, and I put it down after playing it for maybe an hour or two. I was just kind of like, oh, no. Don't know why. Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance is the 5th in the series, and now I have, not for the PlayStation 2, but I have all of this generation's Mortal Kombat games over the Xbox and the PlayStation 2, so I always did like this one. It is pretty cool. It's the one that reintroduced Mortal Kombat to everybody after Part 4 kind of like soured the franchise. The Mummy, Tomb of the Dragon Emperor, got this for $1, even though it's brand new. I don't expect to like it. Even though I did think the one based on The Mummy Returns wasn't that bad, but I didn't like the movie that this is based on at all. I hated it, actually. Not expecting to like this one either. Nano Breaker, which is kind of like this ultra-violent, gory Devil May Cry ripoff Konami made. But it is fun. It is the controls are nice. The graphics are nice. There is just blood flying all over this damn thing. I should show you the back, but the pictures are so tiny you won't be able to get any idea of what I'm talking about. But there is just geysers of this stuff all over the place. It's like an Evil Dead movie. How about that? But it is cool. I like that a lot. Here's another super awesome violent game. Got a lot of shit. The Punisher. It is a fun game. The graphics are pretty rad. And there are these finishing moves that you can do depending on where you are in relation to your person you're fighting in the room, and if there's a specific item in the room you could use, like a desk or a table or a baseball bat or something. And you do these finishing moves on them after you've beaten them down to a certain energy level. And they were so violent that they were turned black and white to censor it. But whatever. It is a really fun game. I had this back in the day, and I loved it. It is probably the only game that really feels like The Punisher. Even though it's got the logo from the movie, and Thomas Jane does the voice of the character in this, it is not based on the movie in any way. It is the comic through and through. So you don't have to worry about that shit. Puzzle Quest, yeah, it's Puzzle Quest. It's okay. I got it for $1, brand new. Yeah, it's cool. It's a role-playing puzzle game. Another survival horror game that I was really looking for a while and found it really cheap, Run Like Hell. Another game that got a lot of crap when it came out. Everyone said it was shit, but now everyone's talking about how great it is. So when I saw it for like $5, I was like, yes, please. I will pick this up and take you home. Pretty rad. The graphics are cool. The sound effects and the music are amazing, and it is actually pretty freaky. Picture like Dino Crisis with like alien mutant creatures. It's pretty rad. Game I did not know anything about, and I found it for a few bucks at a local store. Samurai Legend Musashi. Can't be positive if this has anything to do with Brave Fencer Musashi, which came out for the PlayStation 1 from Square. It's one of theirs. But it's like a living anime from what I can tell. It's like a role-playing action game, more heavy on the action than the role-playing, with really strange, like cel-shaded, angled graphics. It's got a unique look to it. I mean, you can tell just by the cover. I mean, everything is like has a sharp angle to it, which is pretty cool. A lot of fun. It is a lot of fun. Graphics just are amazing, and just like Square, they always do really cool looking and sounding games. Next is a game I didn't know existed. I don't even know why it exists, but it does. So when I saw it, I had to buy it. Seven Samurai 2000XX. You know how vague video game companies get with the years when it's like they don't want to set it in any specific year. But it's basically the Seven Samurai in the future. And I was kind of like, why? But when you really think about it, you know, if you do set it in the future, you can do a lot of really cool things with that title, with the movie. So, I mean, if there's the whole quest aspect, I haven't played it yet. That's why I'm talking about it like it'd be cool if it is like this, which I think it is. Because it does say on the back that it is based on Akira Kurosawa, and the people that work for the Kurosawa Productions or whatever actually had something to do with it. Mobius, you know, who did the designs for Tron and Fifth Element, even had a hand in it. Where you're going around looking for samurai to help you out against like bandits and shit in a futuristic setting. So it sounds pretty rad. It sounds like it could be cool. I will probably do a review on it in the future because it's not very well known. State of Emergency 2. Found this right after I found the first one, after I did that last video about pickups. More of the same. Better graphics, though. Different scenarios. And actually vehicle stuff. Next is Summoner, which I do believe was one of the first games to come out for the PlayStation 2. Never had it back then. It's an action RPG. Didn't really interest me back then, but you know, nowadays, something like this would. I can't be positive, but I think this is the one that has the whole 8-bit RPG video that was online maybe like 10 years ago at the end, over the end credits, where it was like people playing the pencil and paper, you know, tabletop RPG, playing Dungeons and Dragons, where one guy was like, oh, if there's any girls in that bar, I want to do them. You know, oh, I have a knife that's plus 10 against ogres.
Where's the Mountain Dew? In the fridge, duh.
I don't know if it's this or the second one. I think it's this one, where it's in there. That's awesome, though. That's funny. Super Bust a Move, popping bubbles, bubble characters. There you go. Why there's a baby on there blowing a bubble? That's creepy. The last Siphon Filter game I need to complete the PlayStation 2 series. Logan's Shadow. Yes. This one I didn't even know, but it is a port of the PSP game that they made, which was called Logan's Shadow. I had no idea. I thought this was an original PlayStation 2 game. But one of the clerks at the store where I purchased this at the exchange decided to give me like a history lesson on it. He was just like, yeah, the PSP version was amazing. It's just so good, and this is a really good port, man. You gotta have it. You gotta have it. I think he was just trying to sell me on it. But I needed it anyway, so I was gonna buy it regardless if he told me about it or not. This game I had no idea existed at all. I love the series this game is sort of a part of. It doesn't have the name of it in the title at all, but it turns out it is part of the series, unofficially so. It is called Trapped by Tecmo. It is part of the Tecmo's Deception series. So even though there is a Tecmo's Deception 4 coming out for PlayStation 3, which I am super excited about, you have no idea. Someone online told me that this was made, and for some reason they didn't stick the Deception name in the title. I don't know why, but it is definitely part of that series. It's the same exact thing. You're playing someone who's defending their house with all these crazy traps. And when I saw that it was out there and it was available, I found a really cheap copy of it and I snapped it up. Can't wait to try this one. I will definitely do a review of this because that's another little known game. Another game I didn't know existed. I owned the first one. Winback 2. What is it called? Project Poseidon. These games just must have been coming out of nowhere. I had no idea this existed at all. And when I saw it for like $2 at a local store, I was just like, yeah, I love the first one. I'm definitely going to get this one. Maybe I'll do a review of this one also because it's you know, so little known. It flew under the radar, as it were. World Heroes Anthology to tide me over until I can actually start buying stuff for Neo Geo, you know, which I do want, but not do I have the shelf space for those massive cartridges, nor do I have the money to pay for them. But yeah, awesome fighting game by SNK, because SNK is awesome! And then this one, I got it for $1. And I do believe it's based on a cartoon I never heard of. What is it called? Shaolin Showdown? Don't know anything about it. Never even heard of the cartoon. Found it for $1. When I saw that it was made by Konami, or at least released by Konami, I was kind of like, okay, I'll give it a shot. And it looks very cartoony. It looks kind of fun. But then I realized it was based on a cartoon, like a Saturday morning cartoon, and I was like, oh, that's kind of strange. I bet you're just going to suck. But I looked it up online, and people say that it's actually not that bad.